On this show, we'll be discussing and talking and looking at matters money.
We want to give our members the financial freedom they do require through financial literacy that is going to empower them. And once they're empowered, we believe we shall be able to build better lives together.
Given the knowledge that you have today about personal finance, if you had that knowledge before you started working, how different do you think your life will have been today? And given that you've learned something, what is it that you have done or are you doing to ensure that your children gain that knowledge before they start working?
There is a certain trend that you're seeing going on. A trend where somebody saves because they want to spend in their old age. They're not saving because they want to grow on any other thing. So you save. Then the day I retire, withdraw everything and spend before I die.
We have not been able to have a system that would monitor when a customer comes and borrows money from us. We're able to follow up that the money eventually ended up meeting or being deployed to the proposed or intended use.
In terms of personal finance, it has nothing to do with the physical amount of money. It all has to do with upstairs.
You cannot hear this anywhere else, only on Metro Business Cafe. We will be doing this every Thursday from 7:30 to 9 p.m.
To show you how you've been programmed since you're a child to focus on the least effective of the four. Remember, your mind attracts what you think about.
It's Thursday, the 1st of July. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening. My name is Michael Njenga. This is Metro Business Cafe, and we kicked off last Thursday with a lot of insight from our guests in the studio. Tonight, we continue with episode 2 of Changing Our Minds About Money. What is money? How do we handle it? Where do we get it? How do we get it? But before we get into that, let me take you to a quick word that I came across today, and I thought it would be better for me to share it with you. It comes from Ecclesiastes 11, chapter 11, verse 6. It says, "Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well." And today, that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about cash flow. We want to talk about where do you get the money from. We want to talk about how do you get that cash flow. Last Thursday, we kicked off so well. A lot of you talked to us. A lot of you kept asking questions. Remember, if you'd like to talk to us tonight, all you have to do is SMS. Our SMS number is 0790 000 333. Is 0790 000 333 is our SMS line. You can also talk to me through a Facebook. I'm on Facebook Live. We are on Facebook Live. You can talk to me at Mike Njenga. Let's converse. Let's discuss about wealth creation. And to do that, I have Mr. Benson Mwangi. Karibu sana is the CEO, Metropolitan National Sacco. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Say hi to the viewers tonight.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you so much for finding time to participate in our second episode. And it's going to be a very interactive session, and we are going to share key insights on the different ways of making money genuinely. And we believe we are going to share quite insightful moments. Karibuni.
And I like the way you've put it, genuinely. Because you can you can get money, but not genuinely.
Sure.
Asante, thank you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to all this. We also have Andrew Kibe. Andrew Kibe is the founder, Dreamers Club Africa. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you so much. I look forward to impacting more knowledge to you today as we proceed on with these episodes.
We like what we spoke about, and one thing I took home last time is that our mind is a magnet. We attract what we think about. Maybe just take us through, up quick and fast, what we went through last week, some of the things we learned last week.
All right. So last week we covered quite a number of things in a very short span. First and foremost, we asked ourselves a very important question, and that is, who are we? So we came to a point where we understood ourselves from a religious point of view and also from science point of view that we are creators because we are created in the image of our Creator. So by virtue of that, that means that he or she has empowered us with that gift to create whatever we want. Now, what we learned last time is that most people are not aware that they are always creating something, because the way you create something, it always starts with a thought. So a thought repeated over and over and over, spoken about, it's energy you're sending out that is attracting that which you're thinking about. So at any given moment, your mind is always up to something. So we've always been creating. It's just that we've not been aware of that. Now that led us to try to understand then, if thinking is what attracts our events, where does it occur? In a human person. So we saw that it actually takes place in the mind. And that made us dive into the mind. And we saw the mind is actually split into two parts, where we talked about the subconscious and the conscious mind. And we saw that the subconscious mind, the way it learns in the first 7 years is through observation. So it starts building a foundation on how you'll be thinking, whether you're aware of that or not. And through that, you start attracting things to your life. So if you're programmed wrongly in terms of money from when you're very young, you'll find yourself struggling as an adult, not realizing that your subconscious had the wrong mindset from the word go. And that's what you're trying now to unpack in front of our viewers to understand that. And that's why we saw that it's very important for the first 7 years, we need to change this mindset we've had over generations, that children should not be, brought about or be taught about money. That's the point where we start going wrong. The point we do is we tend to look at things from an adult point of view. We assume they're not affected at that age. That's a physical thing that you're looking at. But the truth of the matter is it always starts from, down there. And we saw examples like the Swahili saying, mtoto mleavyo. We say these things, but when it comes to practical things, we don't seem to apply them. So for example, I emphasize that money is a commodity that you need for the rest of your life. You can't run away from that. Just like communication, you need to communicate to people, and you'll communicate until the rest of your life. So it's interesting that when you go to schools and you find them during holidays, they organize what they call life skills. Communication is part of the package that they teach, but money is not.
Yet it's something that you will use
for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So the fact that now it's something you're going to use for the rest of your life, then naturally managing it becomes a life skill. And so being it a life skill, we asked ourselves, how do we develop skills? And so I wrote down a formula where I said skills is equals to the right thought plus the right knowledge plus practice. And they need to follow each other in that sequence. That's why now we kept emphasizing the issue about mindset. So if you're programmed wrongly, the rest will be affected. And and eventually you're not going to have that skill. And so as we proceed on even in today's discussion and the rest, I'll keep going back to the mindset and bring out to show you how it really affects us. And the bottom line at the end of it, we said, you know, it's not about the physical money. When you're talking about financial freedom, it has nothing to do with the physical money. And today it will start coming out. It all has to do with how your mindset is. And a couple of people have spoken to me in the last 1 week, and especially those who've retired and you know, those who are approaching retirement. And they approach me with this question that, you know, me, I'm done, so what's your advice for me? And what I want to ask you today is, what do you mean you're done? You have your mind with you. You're still thinking.
I mean, I've worked. When I'm saying I'm done, I was taught in school. We actually even had a song. So many vijana na muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana. So I'm taught from an early age that I need to go to school, work hard, learn hard, get good grades. After that, I'll get a job.
Correct.
That job now will give me all the best things and the good things that I've always wanted.
Exactly.
And it also tells me at the age of 50, 55, or nowadays going to 60, I retire.
It's time to retire.
It's time out.
Exactly.
I'm sure soon we'll be going to your board, and you'll be explaining to us also again about cash flow. And I want to come back, Benson, to what you said. It's about getting money and getting it the genuine way. And maybe to the viewers, because you are with the Metropolitan National Sacco, and you have been seeing all this money coming to you, been seeing all these people coming to you. And what are some of the telltale signs that this money could be coming, but not from the genuine way? You know, and how can you start educating our viewers tonight that these are the ways and the channels to use before we go to Andrew?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bwana Mike. I think the first thing that we need to appreciate is that as an institution, we work with our members, and there are systems and processes that guide us on the members who are supposed to be recruited. And part of the things that we require to do is to do what we call a KYC. Know your customer. So all the members that have been onboarded or who have been onboarded, we have done a KYC. And since these are not new members, they are members that have done business with the Sacco. Some of them, they have been with the Sacco for the last 30 years. Others have their salaries being processed through the Sacco. Then it means you already have a history with them. So the issue of ensuring that the money that we are receiving from these particular members is actually genuine is because you already have a history. There's that KYC policy that guides us. At the same time, you would not expect, and this is also the practice, the general practice in the industry, you would not expect a customer to come and deposit some whole 5 million without you having an interest to find out why is it that we have a customer here, XYZ, who is doing a deposit of 5 million and without knowing the source of this money. So even the government has been very keen on giving guidelines on all the funds that have to be received by all financial institutions. That if it's an amount that goes beyond, let's say, 1 million shillings, it has to go through the national payment system. So in that way, there are controls and checks that have been put in place to make sure that all the money that is being received, not only by ourselves, but even in other financial institutions, we have a system that ensures that the money that circulates is genuinely acquired. It's very, very important. Okay. Yes.
So you have to get to know this particular person and how they're getting this money and how it's coming to you.
Yes. And also the other thing is if you look at, for example, our membership, we have members who are employed, and we have those ones that are business-based. Business-based. And definitely, like I've said, there's a history. And for example, you'll find that the customer X, Y, and Z, especially like the ones who hold huge deposits with us. These are deposits that they have been able to acquire over time. It's not that it's money that they just brought in as a lump sum amount. Then the other thing that I would also want to highlight is that the members who hold most of the deposits in the institution, particularly the fixed deposit accounts, because we also be advising our members about our products. Our members who have previously taken loans, they have gone outside there, invested this money, and once they get the returns, is now what they have come and plowed back and deposited once again. And apparently you'll be shocked. Like the total amount of deposits that we hold, especially for the fixed deposits, these are monies that are owned by a small group. Out of our entire membership of over 75,000, it's only about 400 members who have been able to mobilize close to about 800 million or thereabout in terms of fixed deposits. And you'll find that these are the members that their age bracket is between 55 and around 65 years. And that's why this particular education is very, very important, because we also want to make sure that our youth, the ones now who are joining us now, are now, they actually now get assimilated to that culture of savings, so that in future, they're the ones now we'll be talking of, they're the ones holding those huge deposits.
We'll come back to that issue of the youth. The reason why I wanted to come back to that issue of the youth as we go to Cashflow Quadrant is because a lot of them are now going to college to learn about procurement. And the reason why they're learning about procurement is because of the tenderpreneurs. The tenderpreneurs are everywhere. All our young people have been told that this is the way to make a quick buck, a quick, some quick money. We'll get to that. And what are you doing? What are you doing to talk to these young people? What are you doing to inculcate the right thoughts? But Kibe, let's come now to the whole issue of cash flow. Where do I get it? How do I get it? What is Cashflow Quadrant? Talk to us.
Okay. Before we go to the Cashflow Quadrant, last time I emphasized on that question of who are you. Today, having understood who we are, I have a question that I want to pose to the viewers. And the question to you today is, what is your value per minute? And just to try and show you what I'm trying to go with this, there's a very beautiful lady who is an actress by the name of Michelle Rodriguez. She earns about $50 a minute.
$50 a minute?
$50 a minute because of who she is. And that translates to something like $30 million a year.
Wow.
The second person I want to mention is a director and actor by the name of Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry earns $1,900 a minute.
$1,900 a minute?
Correct. Which translates to about $1 billion a year. Sheikh Khalifa, the president of UAE. Earns $40,500 a minute.
Whoa.
Which translates to about 21 billion a year. Jack Ma earns about $90,500 a minute, which translates again to approximately 50 billion a year. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, earns $200,600 a minute.
A minute?
Yes, which translates to 104 billion a year. And finally, Jeff Bezos earns $300,200 a minute, which translates to 194 billion a year. The reason why most people don't have revenue flowing to them, it's because they don't have value for their minute.
Value for your minute. Okay.
And that's a very good point to start with, because it really hits you hard. I mean, when you think about how people waste each other's time, let's meet at 10 o'clock, someone shows up an hour later. Imagine if you're conscious about the value of your minute.
Is that the reason why somebody will ask you, how did you spend your time?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to start with the minute, you can start with the day. And then you start squeezing it, 12 hours. So the more you squeeze it, you'll start finding yourself naturally driving yourself towards financial freedom, because every time counts. And that's the take home for today. So as we start the discussions around the cash flow quadrant, I want the viewers to have that in their mindset. And like I mentioned before, the mind does not know the age. It cannot differentiate a child or a grown-up. So even those who are old understand that this is a changing moment for you.
Even those who have retired.
Precisely.
A lot of them keep saying, I'm retired.
Precisely. That is the point.
Yes.
I mean, here you have two options. The first option is you continue the way it's been, and last time we defined insanity as doing the same thing over and expecting different results. Or you take this advice which I'm telling you about. The mind does not differentiate the age the way the brain does. The only thing the mind knows is to attract what you're storing there. So if you're someone who's always saying, I don't have, don't ever expect it to show up.
You'll never get.
That's what you're calling forward to. And it doesn't matter if you're a child or a retired person. So even if you're retired and things are bad, then this is where you cut it off. And you say, I'm not going to sink further than this. So I'm going to use the tool that God has given me, irrespective of my age, and I'm going to start making a difference going forward. And that's where now the knowledge part comes in. So once you understand that mindset, now the topic around the cash flow quadrant comes in. Yes.
So it all boils down back again to
Exactly.
the thought.
Precisely.
So if I keep saying I don't have,
That's what you're calling for.
I'll attract.
Actually, what Kibe is saying.
Yes.
If you're in a hole, if you want to come out, the first thing is that you stop digging further.
Stop there.
Yes.
Look for ways up.
Yes.
Exactly.
How are you teaching and training those who come to you, for financial help, those who will always run to you and tell you, you know what, I want some money. I want some money to do this. I want some money to do that. But in actual sense, when you sit down with these people, they don't even have a plan of exactly, once you give them a loan of like, say, 2 million shillings, they don't know where to take it. They don't know where to start. I mean, the first thing they think is, I have the money, let me take my friends out. Yeah. How are you teaching them? How are you training them to appreciate that value?
One thing that we must appreciate is that, as Kibe will take us through, maybe in the subsequent episodes,
yes,
is that there is good and bad borrowing. What we have done deliberately, what the management and the board have done is first to educate the members of staff. The members of staff have actually gone through whatever now we are covering, and even what will be covered in the subsequent sessions. Mainly because when our members walk into our offices, we have an obligation to educate them, give them the information that they require, even taking them through, the analysis in terms of, I want a loan of so much, this is what I want to do, this is what will be the expected repayment per month. All that information is available so that by the time they are making that decision, I want to apply a loan of so much, we have already given them that information. And that is what has given us a competitive edge over the other financial institutions. So first we have trained our own staff, and we have also come up with a system that is able now to ensure that we are able to follow up that the way our members are engaging, our members of staff are engaging, the members. At least there is that working relationship, and at least we can see that there is a lot of improvement in terms of the loans being consumed by our members. Because again, when you have a customer who takes money and ends up, not fulfilling the intended purpose, definitely that loan will go bad from the word go. So again, that has also worked in our favor in terms of reducing the non-performing loans, and that is clearly demonstrated by the figures that we are sharing. And again, is also a requirement, looking at what guides us, for example, the principles of cooperative. We have an obligation to educate our members. Last time we mentioned about it's a requirement for the non-deposit taking Saccos. Is actually in the regulations that are now governing how they operate. And soon, because the deposit taking Saccos are the ones that even are holding large amounts in terms of deposits. We also expect that our regulator SASRA will also ensure that whatever now has already been has been put as a requirement for the non-DTS and works in the favor of the entire industry, then the same shall also be deprecated for the deposit-taking Saccos.
Before they come to you,
Yes.
then they have to make the money.
Yes.
You have the 4 ways of making the money.
Yes, I do.
Take us through.
Okay. You'll allow me just to elaborate.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about the cash flow quadrant, what we're trying to say is there are 4 categories of how you can make money. We are not talking about ways of making money. We are talking about the categories. We have to be very clear about that. Now, this is how it looks like. So you have the first quadrant, you have the second one, you have the third, and you have the fourth one. So the first one is called A, and A stands for employee. The second one is called S, and S stands for self-employed or small business. And then the third one is called B, which stands for big business. And finally we have I, which stands for investments. So employee, self-employed or small business, big business, and investments. Now, if you think around any business or any way of making money that is genuine, you'll realize that they fall into one of these 4 categories. So this is the starting point. Now, the next thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is the difference between this? Now, to actually break it down for you, I'm going to start with E when I'm talking about employee. Now, who is an employee? And I'm going to make it very simple for, in a layman language you're able to understand.
Yes.
So when we talk about an employee, we are looking at someone who has a job. Underline that word, has a job.
Has a job.
And when we say you have a job, it means you report to someone. That's the simplest definition around E. Okay? That's the first one. The second one is your time that you spend is what equates to money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm just going to use those 2 simple examples to define who an employee is. Now, if you come to S, the first one is you are the job. So you don't have someone you're reporting to, you report to yourself. Self-employed, small business.
Yes.
You are the boss. However, for you to make money, you equate it to also time. Okay? If you don't open your chemist, no one is going to purchase the medicine. If you don't open up your small clinic, you won't have patients. So money is not going to come in. So this part you realize you actively need to be involved. Your work is very active for you to make money. Okay? That's the difference between these 2. So mainly it's just here you report to someone, here you report to yourself. Now, if you move to B, we say you own a system. And what do we mean when we talk about a system? We mean you have created a way of how things can just run by themselves without your intervention. That's the first thing. So we say you own your system. If all employees of Equity Bank today walked away, would Equity Bank shut down? Okay? Because of the system in place. Same thing with Metropolitan National Sacco. So that's where it's been defined as a big business. The other thing to note about B is that these people tap here.
Are they employed?
Yes.
At the first quadrant?
Because who are working for it?
The employees.
It's them.
Yeah.
All right? So that's what that's the key difference that you need to understand about this part. Okay? Now finally, for the investments, you own investments. And these investments are working for you. Okay?
Yes.
So in a very simple way of explanation is around that. Now what is very key, and this is what people really need to understand, there's a very big difference between those who are on the left hand side and those who are on the right hand side. And so let's start look at some of them. Now, assume I drop a cart here and ask you, Mike, I want you to chase this cart. What is the probability you're going to catch that cart?
They're slim.
It's very low.
It's close to zero, yeah?
Yes.
Now, what would you do if you wanted to catch that cart?
Maybe close the door.
Look for some milk.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Bonasio has told us, you basically purchase something that the cat likes. So milk, fish, and then you just call it. And it will come without hassle to where you are. So once it comes to where you just pick it up. Now the people who chase the cart are found on the left side.
Employed
And the small business.
and the small business.
They are always here.
Chasing the cart.
Exactly. So the cart is the money.
Yes.
And that is also in the diagram that I drew for you when I was explaining to you about the statistics we came around this country in terms of financial literacy. You can see most people retire and they end up without anything. It's the years of running.
I've been chasing the cart all along.
Yes, you're exhausted completely. But this side, you have someone who sits down and says, this is ridiculous. Is there a better way I can do this?
Yes.
And just like the CEO said, you come up with the clever of attracting what?
The cart.
Money. So the people on the right hand side don't chase cart. They take time to think of ideas of how they can attract it to them. On the right hand side, they chase.
You've used the word attract.
Yes.
And remember again, you talked about the mindset and how your mind attracts what you think about.
Now you're starting to get the whole concept. Okay? So these people have been wired or programmed to be chasing the cart. Okay? So you'll find that on this side, 95% of the people are found here. If you take any general population, 95% of the people are here.
Employed and the small business.
Exactly. Here you only get 5%. Okay?
Yes.
And if you go back to our statistics last time, you'll realize that the programming is being run in all families. Don't teach kids to do this. Don't introduce them to money. Take them to school. You clearly said it when you started.
It's when now that song we were taught.
That's
so
it.
many vijana.
Exactly.
Wongeze pia.
And you see now the danger. Now I'm coming to another part. Why is it that most of people end up here? There are two key reasons I'm going to give today. The first one is at home, and that we covered last week, where we said parents don't introduce children to these concepts. Family members don't. The society does not see the value in that. Okay? So that's the first mistake we start. Secondly, is actually I want to point out about 3 flaws in our education system that contributes highly to this. I'm not saying I'm against the education system. I'm just pointing out from experience the flaws that I've seen that actually leads to this. And the first one is our education system is structured to teach students what to think, not how to think.
What to think and not how to think. Okay.
When you structure someone's mind to think about what, they're very precise, it's this way. So if you move them outside that thought process, they crash.
Because that's all they know.
Exactly. And the way it starts from kindergarten. When kids get into kindergarten, they're taught A is for what?
It's for apple.
If you said Andrew,
everybody else will laugh.
Aha.
Yes.
Why would they laugh?
Because we've always known A is for apple.
We have been programmed. That's why I keep talking about mindset. Okay? So what happens is A for apple, A for... So that repetition, think of what's going on in the mind. And remember what the mind is processing is what you're doing what?
Yes.
You're attracting.
Yes.
So that's how education system is. Okay? That's the first flow. The second one, it tries to make us become perfect in everything we do. It's not a bad thing, but there's a danger in that. If you become number one in your class and you're 15, you're very excited. But if you're told you're number two of the whole stream of 500 people, you don't feel excited anymore.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. It's no longer exciting. Yes.
Why not? Because this one person in front is the one that is well, you can just stand on and look, wow.
I have 49 others or 490.
Me.
Yes.
Exactly. But this one in front is the one who becomes a problem. So that's a structure of perfectionism. But we know the reality of the world is different. There's nothing perfect about this world, especially in business. There's always going to be up and down, up and down, up and down until you get it right. So if we raise our children believing in perfection, this is why you see people who move from employee and they go to try to do a small business here. If something small goes wrong, they quickly rush back here.
Abandon the business
and rush back
to employment.
Comfort zone. Because of that perfectionist. Nothing is supposed to go wrong. And that's why it's very difficult for them to run businesses. You'll hear them tell you, you've tried 3 times and it's not working, go back. But maybe it's not working because of the subconscious against
Conscious.
You
Yes.
see that? So that's another flow around our schools.
Allow me to ask, and because we're in class we're learning, and as you're talking, so many things are going through my mind. I'm seeing my friend Wakili Rahab Muadhi. She's saying, damn, I cannot believe I've been chasing the cat. She's watching us tonight. She says she can't believe she's been chasing the cat. Delito Ihora is also online. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate. Now, I want to ask a question. Then, is it the reason why in Kenya all employed people have side hustles? That have a side. We are all closet businessmen and women. Yet we are all employed.
Exactly.
Yes. We're chasing the cat.
So in short, our education system instilled fear in us from the word go because of that perfectionist. We are not taught to make errors and learn from that. Anytime you made an error when we were small, we used to be beaten. So what are you doing in the mind? You're telling the mind you're supposed to be perfect. That's not how the world works. There's no child who's born and they just walk. They'll try crawling, they'll hold themselves on the stool until they're able to gain that strength of momentum. That's how nature is. But the way education is structured is not the way nature is. And this is why you find the smartest of the graduates, those who had straight A's throughout their lives. They go to university and they believe this is it, actuarial science, this is it. And they get straight A's. So they come out to the world. But what is happening to the world?
Things are different.
Things are different. You find that the job markets are actually shrinking while we are busy increasing the number of universities. So we are producing more and the work environment is shrinking. And given the way AI is going, artificial intelligence, they're predicting that in the next 15 years, 40% of the current jobs won't be there. Who is thinking about that? So we are still pushing, squeezing our children to end up here.
Employment.
And we know very well this is shrinking. Now, the biggest problem of all, which is the third one I want to bring about with our school system, is they start feeding the mindset of our children that the purpose of education is to get a job. I laugh every time I ask that question in my class when the small kids. And I always tell them, what would you like to be when you grow up? And the answers revolve 5 professions. No, lawyer, pilot, doctor, all that.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's bad, but what we're currently doing is we are blocking our children from a younger age to know this. So we sort of, in their minds, we structure them to just think about here. Employment. Now, I want to bring in something here quickly.
Will you bring us back again to to 3 and 4?
Yes. I will come back to that. So the way I view our education system is like a funnel. Allow me to use a different pen. Thank you. So it's like a funnel. I want you to think of a funnel this way, okay? What happens if you drop water here at a very fast rate?
All of it goes in?
Yes. So you'll expect some to be coming out here, but depending on the speed at which you're dropping it, it will start going up, okay? Now let's assume there are holes. What will happen?
In the funnel, if the funnel has holes.
Yes.
So once you pour water and the water starts coming, or which depending on the force, I'm thinking the water will start spilling out.
It'll start spilling out,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So now, what I want to show you today is this. I've told you this is how I look at our education system, and I want you to break it down into 3 parts like this. So this is our primary, this is our secondary, and this is our tertiary. This is how it's designed. So drop all children here.
Primary school.
Okay? There are those who are going to fall out for one reason or another. School fees, whatever it is. They won't make it to secondary.
Okay.
There are those who will make to secondary, but that will be it. Okay?
They'll spill out.
Exactly. And there are those also even in tertiary universities, colleges are also going to drop out. So we'll end up with just a few who are coming out of where? So the first question we really need to ask ourselves, who thinks about these people?
The spillovers.
The spillovers, yes.
Yeah. Yet we've created a system that shows us education is there. And remember, the way we've structured it is we are teaching kids that purpose of going to school is to get a job. That's a very wrong approach. The purpose of education is to gain knowledge. Knowledge is power.
So I never went to school so that I could get a job.
No.
I went to school to get knowledge.
And knowledge is
Power.
And in my 40-something years, I never thought about that.
That's the point, okay? Last time we said what? My people perish due to lack of
Knowledge.
So if we strive to educate our children or students to know that the purpose of going to school is to gain that knowledge, then you give them that thirst. Knowledge is power. Now when you get that power, it's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. Being employed is one of what you can do. But it's not the only way that you can use that power. You can use that knowledge for many other things. So when you structure the minds of our children to think about what to think, and then you program them that you should be a pilot, you should be this, you're now constraining them completely to end up here.
Yeah.
Employed.
There's no one who can think about this one. That's why you'll find most of these guys, I like looking at them being outside here. So they have no source of income. Okay? But those who are aggressive enough are the ones who are going to start from here. S.
Small businesses.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if they're aggressive enough, because of the right mindset, they'll grow it to here, to B. And then they'll come and employ this one. There's an interesting book called Why the C Students Employ the A Students. It's a reflection of all this.
Because we concentrated on the A students so much.
Exactly.
We forgot the C's and the D's and the E's.
It's like they're,
We never talk about the spillovers.
Aha. So imagine a child who's a spillover. What does he think the society thinks of him? He's a nobody. Okay?
He's a failure.
We even give those examples. Don't be like so and so. Not understanding the reason why maybe he was not able to. Okay?
Yes.
So therefore, if you block all this at school level, then these dropouts see no future. Because the only thing they know that can bring the money is what?
Employment.
And that's why now we end up with a lot of negativity coming out of such people. Had we shown them these other ways, then they will have realized this is just not the only way. There are other things I can do. And unfortunately now those who end up here, they still don't know any other way. They believe in this. So if you have someone who's very smart, straight A's, wants to become a doctor, if that doesn't open up for them, we see results of suicides, depressions. About 2 years ago, there was a story of a very brilliant young man who scored straight A's in Nairobi University, who graduated with a distinction in actuarial science. He looked for a job for about 2 years, nothing was coming up. When the media was covering that story, he was washing cars. How do you explain someone who's straight A's end up washing cars? It's a mindset, because the only thing in his mind was actuarial.
That I get out of university and immediately get a good employment.
Exactly.
Because I'm a straight A student.
Exactly. That's the problem of what to think, not how. Because if we taught that how to think, then you'll have said after 2 years, enough, let me use my gift to try something else here or here.
This is really opening my mind, because sometimes, Benson, you find yourself, it's as if you're talking to me, it's as if you're telling me, because when we are on the ease, the employment and the small business, a lot of us Kenyans fall there. And these are the people who, again, are coming to you.
Yes.
Remember when we started, you said that a majority of those who come to you are employed or are in business.
Just a small proportion.
Small proportion.
Yes.
So majority will come to you who are employed.
Yes.
Then the mindset is they come and save for their retirement.
Yes.
Ain't it? Let's save for our retirement.
Yes.
And then another portion is going to work so that they can educate their children, who will be their retirement packages.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. So we'll come and talk about B, we'll come and talk about I, but as I take you back, then how are you handling this lot? How are you trying to bring them in to the fact that you don't have to save so that it's all about your retirement? I met a man not a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And he told me, currently, the money I'm looking for is for my great-grandchildren. Not even for my children, for my great-grandchildren. And I'll keep on going back to the Bible, because I refer a lot to it. And it says that a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Okay? How are you dealing with these people who are in the E's and the S? Employment and small businesses.
Yes.
And a lot of side hustles.
Actually, if you look at what Andrew is taking us through, we actually want to change the mindset that has been there. Some 13 or 14 years back, our Sacco had a membership of 5,557 members. And we were able to grow that membership from the 5,557 members to the current membership of over 75,000. And how we were able to do that very fast is because we didn't actually demonstrate to our members the need, why they need to do the savings first. Some of even the loan products that had been designed then, a member could walk in, get a loan of 1 million shillings. Simply because it's a policy issue, they must have saved 25% of worth of deposits to qualify for that loan. Then we could now use the loan proceeds to buy the deposits for them. It was a good product for the majority of the members who were able to invest this money wisely. But for those who went and did projects that eventually never gave them good returns, it actually ended up messing everything. And that's why when we went back and looked at, is it the right way of, recruiting members, empowering our members, we realized it's not the best approach. And that's where now Kibe, as an expert, we decided to engage him. And he actually took us through now what we are going through. And now we have decided now to rewrite the book. And we start from the savings concept. If they want now to apply for loans, they can apply for loans along the way. Yes, that's how we have been able to address it. And so far, it is working well for us. Yes.
You decided to rewrite the book.
Yes.
Because the book has been written over and over and over again. And all we know is this
the insanity part that he talked about. The
insanity part that he's bringing us into.
Yes.
I know Kevin will be telling us to take a quick break in a short while, but I really want to also get into the B and the I and start thinking, how are they not chasing the cut? And they are now the ones who have decided, you know what, I'm going to attract this cut. Remember, you can talk to us. Our SMS line is 0790-000-333. 0790-000-333 is our SMS line. If you'd like to ask any question to the two gentlemen in the studio tonight, you can do it through that number. I'm also seeing a lot of people talking to us on our Facebook, on us. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, why didn't we get this education way back? Thank you very much. Your online Mugoa Karaja says, does that explain why employees are business phobic? Then I'm seeing Alicia Masharia is also in. Thank you very much to all of you who are talking to us. Once again, you'd like to talk to us, remember our SMS line is 0790-000-333. As we move on, Andrew, explain to us who, myself included, because I'm seeing myself probably in that bracket. I'm seeing myself probably in that bracket of employment and then small business. Yes. And now the most funny thing is, Benson, I come to you and tell you I'm a businessman. I'm employed, but also I'm a businessman. So you tell me, okay, tell me about your business. But I have a butchery. Within the butchery, I have an M-Pesa shop. Outside there, the pickup that I came with in the morning, I've put a signboard there, ask for transport. So I'm always chasing the cat. We are always chasing the cat. Teachers, take us through on how to move now from the E and the S, the employed and the small business, to the B and the I, where we start now attracting the money. As you said, it's all mindset.
Exactly.
How do I start attracting the money?
Now, the first thing is to appreciate the power of this quadrant. That's the first thing. And through the questions you've asked coming from our viewers, it shows the impact that it's having on them. Like, wow, how come we? And that's why I keep going back to the mindset. So the first point is that viewers should not panic, or actually should count this as a blessing, because it's opening up your mind into something you aren't privy to. Which means, and that's why I went to the subconscious and I said, we become slaves of our subconscious without realizing that. You're not living your thoughts. You're living someone else's thought that was passed down your generation. But the worst thing about this is you're not aware of it. Because you're following that 5% which is telling you this is how things are supposed to be. Okay? And that's why I like using that definition of insanity. Now, so if you want financial freedom, in fact, one of the things I can say the difference between the left and the right-hand side is, on the left-hand side, you have financial stress. There's a lot of financial stress on this side. But on the right-hand side, you have financial peace. It's a major take home. Yeah? Financial stress here.
Financial stress.
A lot.
Running after the chasing the cat.
Yes.
I'm tired.
Yes.
I want to quit.
Correct.
I don't want this anymore.
And on this side, you have financial peace.
Yes.
Which is financial freedom. Okay? Now, so you can see the danger of having a wrong mindset. Even if you're a big, you're a CEO or director of a very big company, as long as you're an employee, you stand chances of, in the future, you'll find yourself with financial stress. That's why I told you a lot of these retired people who had prime jobs.
They're employed.
They don't have financial peace.
They are CEOs. Sorry, Benson.
And that's proof that it's not about the physical amount of money. It's about the mindset. So they were programmed wrongly here. Now, the next thing to understand and appreciate is the kind of mindset required at this point is very different from here. And the one required here is very different from here, and so forth. So a lot of people who come from here move down here to start small businesses, but they do not understand they've brought down with them the subconscious of how they were thinking here.
So the employed mentality, I bring it to my business.
Exactly.
Okay?
And you'll realize most of these ones tend to, project how they were being treated when they're here. And that's a very wrong approach of going about that. And this is why the Metropolitan Business Cafe is very key, because now we're starting to bring out the issues that affect these people who are seated here. Okay? So to answer your question, Mike, the idea behind this Cashflow Quadrant is this. Step 1. Okay?
Yes.
Step 2. Okay? Then step 3. Then play around here.
Okay.
Okay? So here you're introducing what we call a plan. Where am I today? I'm here. If you're here, then this is the way to move.
Yes.
If you're here,
yes.
The idea is, how do I move here, then here?
So business and investment.
Yes, because these were financial pieces. Okay? So the list that you can start off with is, and this is what I advise people, make sure one of your leg is here and the other leg is here. This is what you're supposed to target if you want financial peace.
I'm employed, yes.
Yes.
But I become a businessman.
Or you invest.
Or I invest.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you're on both sides. You're on the left and
yes. Exactly.
I'm employed, it's okay.
Exactly.
But I'm on this other side also, financial freedom and financial rest.
Exactly.
Where I'm a businessman.
Yes.
And I invest.
Exactly. So we're doing these two. Because now you've understood, for me to have that financial peace, I need to have a leg on this side. Then the driving factor becomes, how do I attain that financial peace? I can't start a big business when I'm employed. I can't grow my small business to become big. So the only option I have on the right-hand side becomes investments. Okay? So now you start asking yourself, what sort of investments should I start thinking about? Okay? And I talked about having a plan. So I believe in the next 2 or 3 episodes, I'll be covering a topic that is so powerful but very much underestimated, and that is goal and goal setting.
Yes.
Because now that gives you a very clear roadmap of how you can articulate how to move from where you are to where you choose to be. So the minimum you're aiming at is one leg here, one leg here. So even if you're retired, you might say you're not in any of this, but you are. Probably you're running a small business. There's some income coming from somewhere. So the idea is, no matter how little it is, I go back again to the mindset. It's not about how much it is.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So how do I come up with that plan? And that's why you see now in this Metropole Business Cafe, we're going to be teaching people on how you can move from this point to this point. So we started with the mindset.
Yes.
Now we've come to talk about the issue of how, the different ways of how you can make money.
Yes.
Then the next step, in the next class, I'll be discussing something called cash flow. The habits, there are 3 types of habits in terms of how money moves. But most people don't know about that. 2 of them will lead you with these people. 1 of them will lead you here. So when you combine those 2, the framework now will become very easy. And at that point now, when you're talking about investments, you'll find like the members will start seeing or appreciating even the Sacco more, because you'll realize how much they can help you jump from this side to this side.
I'm seeing very many questions coming in on our SMS line 0790000333. I'll be asking those questions. You do not give us your name. You say, is it ethical for one as an employee to do side hustles at the expense of the employer in pursuant of being on the right side of the quadrant? It's a question we'll be asking shortly. And to all of you who are talking to us on 0790000333, thank you very much. To all of you who are talking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, thank you very much. I'm seeing Edward Mutuaruhio. Thank you very much. You are very much online with us. He's Mutuaruhio, but he's the overall head of Saccos at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. He's online and he's talking to us. So we have Nick Kamonye, head of consultancy services, also from Cooperative Bank. I mean, they're all online tonight. And he says, what great content that we have tonight. It's not just tonight, it's every Thursday evening from 7:15 in the evening all the way till where you'll tell us, let's talk tomorrow. This is Metro Business Cafe. We take a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for staying with us. This is Metro Business Cafe. My name is Michael Njenga, and to all of you who are talking to us tonight, so many questions coming in, gentlemen. A lot of feedback coming in tonight. People are watching us from as far as Dubai. Priscilla Waidimo is online. Grace Moy, thank you very much. I'm seeing a lot of people. Alice Masharia, thank you. To all of you who are sending us SMSs on 0790000333. I'm seeing somebody saying, as a teacher stroke civil servant, our lives are career based. When is the right time to engage in investment? Remember there was another one who was talking about side hustle. So let's try and answer a few of these questions. Is it ethical for one as an employee to do side hustles at the expense of the employer in pursuant of being on the right side of the quadrant?
Okay. So to answer that question, that will entirely depend on, the policies and procedures of, your workplace. And there's definitely a conflict of interest when you engage yourself in side hustles, because it means you'll be taking up your employer's time. And remember, they're paying you for that time. So what I normally recommend is, for those who are employed, if you're standing here, so as an employee, and I like the fact that people are asking, they're seeing the difference between the two.
Yes.
So what I normally tell someone is, remember I said for starters, make sure one leg is on this side and on the other one is on this side. Now, if you engage on a side hustle, which side are you if you're an employee?
You're
On the left.
So you've not touched where?
yes, the right side.
Okay? And what is driving the subconscious mind is, I'll be able to make money here to sustain me.
Just enough.
No, the program that is running is I'll be able to get enough to sustain me even when I retire. But now the point is, where are both of your legs?
On the left side.
On the yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the minimum is make sure one is on this side and the other one is on this side. So that leaves with two options. Now, is it possible for you to be an employee and run a big business? It's not possible.
It's not possible.
So that leaves you the only option.
So you become an employee, but to invest.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the beauty about investments is, money is working for you. You're not working for it. It does not require a lot of your time. So the point now becomes, what kind of investments can I think about right now? And this is where now the goal planning and setting comes in. Defining what you want to do for a period of time, being realistic with that, looking at the support that you can get. So for members of Metropolitan National Sacco, that's where the Sacco comes in. So you being a civil servant or being a teacher, you need to leverage the power that is there within your Sacco to tap into this.
To the investment side.
The investment side.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And you see, you'll find a lot of people shying away from investments. Why? It's because of the scams. People have really been hit. But why have they been hit? I go back. My people perish due to
Lack of knowledge.
So we have this thing in our country where we don't like reading.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And I cannot blame that attitude. It's because, again, we were programmed to believe reading is ending where?
Employment.
That's why you find people asking you, ujacha kusoma?
True story, yes.
It's like it has an end. People don't realize the beauty of knowledge, because the moment you shift your mindset and realize that the more knowledge you gain, the more power you have at your hand, you embrace it. That's why the top billionaires in this world spend almost 3 hours a day, minimum, studying. They're not studying for money, but that knowledge they gain is what helps them be ahead all the time. So the problem with us is we follow the wind when it comes to investments. Bitcoins, oh, it's jumped by 200%. I'm missing something. So we use emotions to invest. But of course, we'll be covering a topic of investments, and I'll be taking them through some basic even rules that you can follow that is going to aid them to ensure that they get into the right investments. And so the idea is to come up with sort of a 5-year plan. And then you set yourself targets. In the next first year, I want to have achieved this, second year, third year. And then walk to your Sacco and ask them, this is the plan that I have, how can you support me? Because remember, we talked about the skills is made up of 3 components. So the practical aspect is where they come in, all right? So how can they aid you to get that?
And I'm seeing those questions. I'll be asking you shortly. Yes.
So when that comes in, Metropolitan National Sacco will take that one up. And so the guide, so it's sort of it's like you're holding each other's hand and you're both working towards achieving different objective but in the same direction. Okay? So that would be my answer when you're starting. I say that's the minimum you should think about. So after that 1 year, depending on how you see things, you can now start thinking about, can I shift this to here and maintain this? Okay? So you do your analysis based on what you've observed happening in that period. If you're not comfortable, keep doing the same thing. But now what that will mean is, and we'll be covering this, I believe, in the next week, but one will be covering the right way of what we call the money cycle. A lot of people first spend, then they save what is left. It should be the other way around. Save first,
then spend
what is left. So when you train yourself first to save, it's because you want to lock something to ensure that you're able to attain here.
Yes.
And actually, Mike, something Andrew has forgotten to mention is that part of this financial literacy journey is that one of the key things that the management did, the board and management did, was actually to look at our various products. Our range, variety of products. And we looked at the features, particularly the savings product.
Yes.
So as far as the investments are concerned, we have already created those investment opportunities where members can invest, and they don't have really to take a lot of time monitoring how the investments are performing. Just come, for example, we have a fixed deposit as a product. Members will just members and potential members will just come and place a fixed deposit. We will do the rest in terms of management and actually get good returns.
Thanks for saying that, because that's a question that is coming in. 0790 somebody says, as a member who have invested in the Sacco, can the Sacco management come up with income generating ventures on behalf of the members? And then the other one says, does the Sacco have a plan on, does the Sacco have, or are they planning on coming up with tailor-made products for guys like us in the SME sector, which I believe is the backbone of our economy? The big business guys were once self-employed guys.
Yes, that is already there. It's already there. What we did towards the end of last year, the issue of mobilizing deposits is a big issue for this Sacco. And we have been going through what we call a transformation program. This year, the program is in the 3rd year and final year of implementation. So late last year, we came up with a plan, especially that would now specifically suit the needs of our members, looking at the various investment opportunities. Be it members want to come and deposit money with us on short-term basis, medium-term basis, and long-term basis, and the interest rates are very attractive. Members can save for holidays, they can save for whatever expenses, be it medical, and what they only need to do is to visit the nearest branch. And we have we even came up with the officers that you're calling customer service officers.
Yes. And
these are officers who are meant to engage the customers and advise them on all these investment opportunities. More to that, the other thing that we have done is that we have deployed more members of staff in the front office with the name of now, creating rigorous engagement between our members and the members of staff. And with that, we have now left behind, that is in the back office, less members of staff, again now, who are supposed now to process whatever is coming in. So this is a different Metropolitan National Sacco.
Yes.
That's ideally what I'm trying to say. And the services are better, and we expect that customers will get a different experience.
So I can come, for example, I can walk in.
Yes.
Because now I've started looking at what Andrew is saying. Andrew is basically telling me, Mike, you're employed, yes. But when you're employed, I want you both your feet to be on the left and on the right. So that because you're employed, I'm an employed person, there's a teacher out there who's watching us. There's somebody else who's working for the civil service who's watching us. So they're not fully able to be either in their small business or in the business sector. So they want to invest. They want to bring money to you, Benson, who at the Metropolitan National Sacco, and tell you, here's my money. I want my money to work for me. You said our money should work for us. I want my money to work for me.
Yes.
Do you have such tailor-made areas where I can come tell you, here's my $1,000,000 shillings.
Yes.
I want returns.
And I'll actually give you a very good example. Last weekend we had a chama meeting, and we are about 25 or so members. So we shared some dividends. And what we did immediately after members shared the dividends, I actually invited 2 of my colleagues.
Yes.
And we came and did a very powerful presentation to the chama members. And in the process, out of whatever had been shared between the members, which was slightly over 6 million, we were able to go back to the office with more than half of it. And ideally what I'm trying to say is that we have been able to come up with products, whether you want to save $1 million, whether you want to save 100,000. And we have, what we have done is that part of the rebrand, because we also did a rebrand on the entire brand of the institution.
Yes.
Part of the rebrand of the existing products is that we have even now made it so flexible that if, for example, from your pay you can be able to set aside 100,000, you can actually place that money in a term deposit for the 30 days, waiting for your next pay. You save another 100. We combine the two such that now the next deposit will be for 200,000, the subsequent one 300, and over time, like I mentioned, most of the members who hold those term deposits with us, these are deposits that they have been able to build over time. It's not something that they came and deposited all at once. And we have provided that flexibility such that now with whatever Andrew is taking us through, at least now members can appreciate that our Sacco now, like I said, we have decided to rewrite the rules and create an avenue and a platform where they can be able to save conveniently without hassles. Because Mike, for example, I myself, I'm working for nearly almost 12 hours a day.
Yes.
When will I be able to monitor the progress of my investments? I need an investment idea that, it will regulate on its own. I don't have to spend a lot of time monitoring what is going
through.
Yes, and that is exactly what we in management and the board, we have provided such that we leave our members with their money at peace and we invest it for them. And the other thing also to mention, because again, there are some members who raise this question, then how are we assured that our money is safe?
Yes.
Metropolitan.
Because that's the other thing. And the reason why people are asking this, and I'm mentioning, just throwing names out there because they're already, in court and everything. We have people who are being told, come, we will invest in farming, then Goldscape escapes with your money. And then kidogo, we hear there's Desi who's coming, they escape with your money. We have about 46 not very genuine people and companies around.
Ponzi schemes.
So yes, those schemes that just, they want to get away with your money. So when I bring my 100,000, like there's a gentleman here who's called Michael, who's saying, my name is Michael, and my question is for the youth. What is the best kind of investment to have for those in small business, like movie shops? This is somebody who probably wants to bring you 15,000 bob. And this 15,000 shillings is everything between them and riches.
Yeah.
So how will you guarantee?
The assurance that I want to give to our viewers who are both existing members as well as potential members is that Metropolitan National Sacco is an institution that has been in operation since 1977. It's not something that was just started the other day. The other most important thing is that we are a licensed deposit-taking Sacco, licensed and regulated by the Sacco Society's regulatory authority. In terms of asset base, we are ranked at position 6. We are a very solid institution. And one of the key things that our regulator is able to monitor, our operations, how we are running the business, do we understand our business, is through provision of monthly reports, which they normally do it off-site. And from time to time, they also equally come and do what we call an on-site inspection. And obviously, again, we are an institution that we are, audited by external or independent auditors who are in good standing and, so to speak, not small audit firms. So that assurance is there. And if anyone would want to confirm that, there's even a Kenya Gazette that was issued the other day, and our regulator confirmed that Metropolitan National Sacco is licensed to carry on the deposit-taking Sacco business. And again, also look at our vast branch network.
Yes.
We enjoy a branch network of 8 interconnected branches and 12 service centers. So generally, we are all over the Republic of Kenya, and for sure members are enjoying our services.
By next show, I'll be coming. The next 2 or 3 shows, I'll be coming and telling our viewers, this is what I've done, this is what I've deposited, so that we just don't talk. We tried. Because investment, Kibi, I'm seeing you're telling us, if I'm not able to go to the small business and the big business, and I still want to be in an employment as so many of other people who are in SACCOs, then I need to invest. My producer, Kevin, tells me we need to start wrapping up. The key things tonight, take home, that I need to remember before we come to next Thursday on Metro Business Cafe.
Okay. The first one is, what is your value per minute? That's a question I'd like you to ask yourself. Sleep over it tonight. And I can guarantee you, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to look at the world very differently. And that will be the starting point of attaining not just even financial freedom, but you'll realize every other aspect of your life will start changing. That's number one. The second one is you need to understand, again, I emphasized from last episode, how controlled you are in your subconscious mind without your knowledge. And the key to that is when you're trying something so hard for so long and it's not working, it just points out that what you're programmed is very different from what you wish to attain right now. So you really need to keep trying. You keep trying, don't give up, because that virtue of trying is you're breaking down what was on the subconscious mind. The third one will be understand the cash flow quadrant. It basically breaks down the 4 ways of making money. Understand how the difference between the left and the right side. The right side is where we have something we call passive income, where you don't put a lot of effort in terms of making money. On the left-hand side is where we call active income, where you put a lot of effort in that. So if you wish to attain financial freedom, it does not matter how much you're making, how old you are. The point is, start now and give yourself a timeline to ensure that one of your legs is on the right-hand side and the other one is on the left-hand side. And I urge you finally to make sure that you don't miss the rest of the episodes, because they are all connected. And by the time you're getting to the 4th one, now everything will just be like, wow. If you think the first and the second one has opened you, you're yet to see more to come.
So there's more to come.
Yes,
I can't
there is.
wait, man. I'm really excited, and that's the reason why I keep telling you. Please don't tell me. Let me hear it on air because I want to learn. And as our viewers are learning, how much are you worth? What are you worth? You started by telling us people how much they're worth per minute, and how you do this is, for example, I'm paid 50,000 shillings a month, so I divided by the days.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know. I divided by the days that I work.
Exactly.
So a day I'll get how much I'm worth.
Exactly.
Our take home from you as we look forward to the next episode.
So first, I would like to thank our viewers, for finding time to come and, follow on this discussion. And I believe the message that we have been able to share so far, that's between today and what we also shared last week. I believe will teach them very important lessons in life. And I also want to assure our viewers we made a commitment when we had our AGM. That was early in the year. And I believe from what you have seen so far that these are different institutions. We are more caring. Like Andrew has said, the next sessions are very, very important because each session keeps building on what is to be shared next week. And I believe by the time we are through with all these sessions, definitely our members will have the financial freedom that they require to make economic decisions. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to remind you, it's all about the mind. You said whatever we think about, we attract. So if I keep thinking that I can't, then it basically means I will not be able to get it. So what are you thinking? You also told us, who are you hanging out with? Because I smell like the company I keep. So I will smell like the company I keep. So everybody else who is with us and who is around me, I become like them. So if they are whining, if they are always borrowing, if they're always thinking, how can we get money not the right way, then I become them. Then again, what are you worth? What are you worth? My goodness. You cannot hear these things anywhere else. It's just on Metro Business Cafe. We will be talking about this each and every Thursday. We started last Thursday. Each and every Thursday from 7:15 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. And we'll be just expounding. Keep talking to us. Our SMS line is 0790 000 333. Even after this show, keep talking to us. We will be sending back and talking back to you through SMSs. Also on our social media platforms, we have Dreamers Club Africa, both on Twitter,
YouTube, Facebook,
yes,
LinkedIn,
yes,
and IG.
And again, also on Metropolitan National Sacco.
Yes.
All the Twitter handles are on your screen. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. I'll leave you with how we kicked off today. It's from Ecclesiastes 11, chapter 11, verse 6. And it talks about sow, keep sowing, keep giving, keep putting it to the right places, and keep taking it in the morning, take it in the afternoon, because it says you do not know which seed will become fruitful, either in the morning or in the afternoon, or even both of them. It could be on the E or on the B or on the I. It could be on the employment side, it could be on business side, or on the investment side. Keep placing those seeds in different areas. And what a better place to place your seeds than at the Metropolitan National Sacco. It is the place to be. My name is Michael Njenga. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. We will be right back here again on Thursday next week from 7 till 9, only on Metro Business Cafe. Good night and God bless.